Thank you. Welcome back to our next leg on the race around the world here at Pitstop Pals, part of the Reality Realm Network. My name is Kevin Oliver,
My name is Kevin
and
Oliver, number two.
that's not true at all.
My name is Bruce Heller, as always.
And evidently, you don't have very good Wi Fi.
No, the churches, when they put Wi-Fi in my house, they're gonna, I think, get better Wi-Fi in the church. But this is better than what's at my house right now, because that's nothing. And I used to use my mobile hotspot, but I've hit my I have unlimited data. I don't have unlimited mobile hotspot. So that got slowed down yesterday to the point where it's basically useless because they slow it down once you hit a certain amount of usage for it. So I'm up at church right
That's
now.
tragic.
The Wi-Fi was good enough for me to watch our episode last night, so that's fine. I don't have my ring light with me, so the lighting keeps going in and out. But yeah, this episode was fun. It's basically the old era equivalent of a mega leg, and that we don't have an elimination at the end of it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's weird. It's weird. Um, but before we get started, this episode was titled "Mow 'em Down Like Grass." Bruce, do you know who said that quote?
I do not. Was it Rob? That feels like a Rob thing to
It
say.
was very subtle. It was not Rob. It was actually very subtle. And I almost missed it. It was towards the beginning, and it was actually Ron.
Huh. Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty subtle. And like I said, I almost missed it if I didn't know I was supposed to be looking for it. Um, so based on what we talked about last week and me trying to math out um how this thing's gonna go for the rest of the season, I was lost. I was lost because um, the final episode is number 11, and that's when there should be three people left. We just finished episode 6 last week when we were talking about it, and there was 5 left. My thought was episode 7 would have 4 left. I was wrong. Um, that would put episode 10 would need 4. In between episode 8 and 9, I was looking at basically two NELs, which didn't make sense. Um, like you said, there was no elimination this week, which means we're going into episode 8 with 5 people. Based on my calculations, there, my best guess is that next week's we're going from a mega leg to an NEL possibly,
Yeah.
with either an NEL in episode 8 or in episode 9, one of the two.
Well, this
We know
was
that there's one more coming this season.
funny because a couple weeks ago we didn't know it was a double episode week, and I didn't know that this wasn't going to be a
Yeah.
complete episode. I didn't know there wasn't going to be an eliminations, and all of a sudden the episode ends. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? So I guess this balances out the surprise double
Well,
episode.
I had a feeling of something. Well, you see, about 5 or 10 minutes left, they kind of hinted that way. Once they got uh, their clue to go see Phil, because
Yeah.
it never says check in at the pit stop, and Phil, when explaining to us, does not say anything about a pit stop. He says something about uh, come see me at the mat, where they will uh, or proceed to the next route or something weird.
Huh. Yeah, that's true.
And so, yeah, um, yeah, it was a weird uh, way to do it, a weird way to say it, but I'm really not surprised. I just didn't expect it to end after the first team getting to Phil.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I thought the episode would end with Meredith and Gretchen finding out that, yeah.
The ending
But
felt very abrupt.
getting into the actual episode itself, I it was very abrupt. But like I said, the last 5 minutes or so, we're leading up to this abrupt ending. Like it was kind of forecasting it, but if you're Bruce and you're tired and you're not paying attention, yeah.
Yeah,
But I guess that's just normal Bruce.
I'm always good at paying attention.
um, that's definitely not true. You literally couldn't tell me who said the quote that named the episode.
To be fair, I can very rarely do that.
To be fair, that proves my point that you don't pay attention very well.
True.
For those of you that are wondering why there's these long stalls, Bruce and I are on some kind of weird delay.
Yeah.
So hang with us. Hang with us. This is a little rough.
Oh, we'll power through though.
Getting in. Sure. Getting into the episode, I thought that while we were starting that this was going to be an NEL. That's actually the first thing I wrote down was NEL question mark.
Quotes.
Oh, quotes. Good job. You never talk about quotes. You got any quotes for me, Bruce?
Yeah, let me see. 1, 2. I have 5 that are pretty much all from 2 people.
That is like a record for you. That's like a record from you.
I have "We don't want to break a hip" from Meredith.
Yeah.
I have "This is like when everyone was trying to get out of Baghdad because it was being bombed" from Ron.
Yeah.
Which I think was about maybe the
Yep.
traffic in India. I don't remember what that was about, but that felt like kind of an extreme
It
comparison.
was.
I have
It was.
I have "beep beep 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 beep" from Gretchen. I have
You said from 2 people.
Yeah, they're all pretty much Gretchen and Ron. Oh, well, Meredith, yeah.
No. Bruce is still being sexist. That's where we are.
Well, I forgot I had a Meredith quote in there, but all the rest of them are
It was literally the first one.
Yeah, so it was the longest one ago that I wrote down.
Oh my gosh.
But from Gretchen, "beep beep 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 beep." Donkey crap all over the place again from Ron. And from Gretchen, just because this entire sequence was great. "He took your tea. Shame on you."
Yes, that was a good time.
And you gave
I'll
him
be
that
completely
tea.
honest.
He did not take the tea. You offered it to him, and he took it.
Because he told her that his name was Raj and that he was the person she was looking for.
Did they ask for a last name, though? I'm guessing there's a lot of people in India named Raj.
But still, if you're not the one that should be getting the tea, why tell them that you are the person that should be getting the tea?
Because you're thirsty. Lying is still
Yeah, and
bad.
that's why it's his fault.
Yeah. But
You kind of are. You kind of are.
I withdraw. Meredith, Gretchen's reaction was just so wholesome to that, though. It made me smile.
So, I thought this week was really bad on quotes. There just wasn't a lot to go on. I actually only ended up with a total of 3, actually a total of 4, but one of those is Phil's ending, which I wrote down to talk about at the end. But I actually only had, like I said, 3 quotes here, and you said 2 of them. Meredith at the beginning saying, "We all got on the same flight. Now we just don't want to break a hip." can equate this with is when everyone was getting out of Baghdad because it was being bombed. And then my other one came right afterwards from Ron, which was if it wasn't for bad luck, we wouldn't have any luck at all.
Yeah.
And that's all I have for quotes. So, you ready to get into the episode? Since I tried and you stopped me.
Well, you always want to do
Okay,
quotes
like I
first.
said, I first thought I know I was it was not top of mind because for me it was a bad week with quotes. I just didn't wasn't inspired by very much
Fair
in the
enough.
way of quotes. Yeah. Like I said, I really thought going into this that it was going to be an NEL, and I still believe that up until the point in which I realized that they weren't calling it a pit stop. But this episode was just kind of weird in general. Anyway, they left the Kauai village after their normal 12-hour rest stop. We get it, Phil. They get 12 hours. Um, and let's see, Rob and Amber, they leave at 12:45 a.m. Ron and Kelly only 1 minute later at 12:46 a.m. Um, but an observation I made before they got gone was that Gretchen still looks like somebody beat her up.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that.
Like she's got this spot like by her lip
Yeah.
that looks pretty rough.
I mean,
But she is
you face plant in a cave and see how quickly you recover.
well probably quicker than Gretchen.
When your skin's younger, it regenerates quicker.
That's what I'm saying.
Can't believe you hate old people again.
Oh my gosh. Bruce is sexist and I'm ageist. That's what we found out today.
On the bright side, I think the delay might be gone.
Is it gone?
I don't know. You're responding to me a lot quicker all of a sudden.
Well, I just heard you.
Wow. Okay, so it might have fixed itself. Cool.
Look at that go. Anyway, um, they find out that they have to fly to Lucknow, India, which is more than a 5,000-mile flight. And when they get there, they have to go to a religious temple and find an area called the Buli for their next clue. And there was an interesting thing about this specific start to the race is that teams were arranged flights all the way to Mumbai, India, but they were responsible for arranging their flights from Mumbai to Lucknow.
Yeah, and
And
before the arranged flights, they go to another city in Botswana, and there's some
yeah,
shenanigans at that airport, like Francistown or something like that. Yeah, Francistown.
Francisville, I'm pretty
Uh,
sure, wasn't it?
the whatever the second word, the Francis's airport. There's some shenanigans there, where two people step outside to call their travel agent so they don't get heard, and then two other people step behind the airport desk. Uh-oh, his picture's gone.
It's okay. I'm here.
And then two other people step behind the airport desk to look at the person's computer. This was just
I'm back.
there you are. I see you now.
I had to get off to do my B reel, so I wasn't late.
Uh
Pretty sure that happened last week too.
yeah.
Are we really gonna call this shenanigans though?
Uh Tomfoolery.
Why is it any of that? Why is it not just playing the game?
I mean, fair enough. It just felt a little out of the ordinary. It was a little extra chaos than what we normally have. Extra chaos, that's what I'll call it.
Really? You think this is extra? Out of all the things that Rob Mariano has done on this season, this is what you're calling extra chaos?
No, it just the scene as a whole felt chaotic. Like there's so much stuff going on
See,
at once.
I did not. That's not at all the vibe I got from this.
Okay.
But that's why there's two of us on this podcast, um, so that we can disagree on things.
Yeah, I just posted Be Real a picture of you on
Hello?
the computer. So I'm here. Can you hear me?
You never post on Be Real.
I'm back. Well,
Yeah.
cause I get a lot of notifications on my phone, and I usually like when I was working fast food, Be Real would go off when I would be there, and I would just swipe it off, and then I forget to go back to it later. But today I posted on there, and it was a picture of my computer and a view on my computer. Let's see when the last time I posted on here was.
You only posted on there because I put
Yeah.
like
October
3 months
16th
ago.
was October 16th was my last one. It was a picture of a soda.
So not 3 months ago, just over a month ago.
Yeah, it was a picture of a big soda I got at Quick Trip.
And then before that, it was probably another month.
No, that was like part of like 3 days
And
in a
before
row
that, it
I
was
did it
probably
for
another
some.
month.
That last one was part of like 3 days in a row that I did it for some reason. Okay, where were we?
And then you stopped again.
Yeah.
Okay, where were we? Was you calling what I call a normal day in the office extra chaos?
It stood out to me for some reason. I can't explain why. It just normal airport scenes don't involve racers going behind the airport counter to look at the computer themselves.
To be fair, normal airports don't look like the Francisville airport.
They should. Imagine if the like, JFK airport in New York was replaced by the Francistown airport.
That would be chaos.
Chaos is entertaining.
It is for sure. Um, a few other things to mention here. They had $125 to start the leg. Ron and Kelly, they talked things out. They seemed to be in a better place than they were when she was
Much better.
calling him a piece of trash redneck.
Yeah, they seem to be
Um,
much better. They like reset. They reset. It seems like, and they're all good again. They're all lovey again.
yeah,
I love it.
Uchenna and Joyce, they were on a real high after coming into their own while carrying things on their head in the last episode. Um, and yeah, Meredith doesn't want to break a hip. I also would not want to break a hip. I understand. But what Bruce was calling this extra chaos here was a very interesting thing. We see kind of two factions um, start start up between the five teams that are left. Um, Rob and Amber working with Ron and Kelly, which is weird to see, considering that Ron and Kelly started out the season working with Rob and Amber and very quickly flipped sides to being against Rob and Amber for the last few weeks. But we see them explain that since they have been coming in first or second, nobody else wants to work with them. So they're defaulting back to Rob and Amber.
Yeah. Well,
And
the interesting thing about this, we get a scene here while we're waiting at the Francistown airport of Ron saying, like, yeah, working with them might be putting a target on our back. Maybe we should be, like, saying to Kelly, maybe we should be minimizing our relationship with them. And we immediately get a scene of Rob going, yeah, our relationship with them, it works great. Let me find the quote. it's one of mutual respect and friendship, and like we're enjoying working together. And as he's saying that, Ron is suggesting to Kelly that maybe they minimize this. So kind of interesting that those two
Yeah,
both
yeah.
on the
So
same page there.
I noticed that too. But one part that you did mention was that when Ron said something about minimizing that relationship, Kelly turned around and said, "Keep your enemies closer." So they are very much considering Rob and Amber the enemy, while Rob and Amber are like, "Yeah, they're our friends on this race," which is kind of just really ironic. Um, but when we see that Rob and Amber and Ron or Kelly are working together, the other three teams are working together too. Len and Alex with Joyce and Uchenna, and Meredith and Gretchen. And I found it very interesting because how this extra chaos. I'm just harping on you, man.
I know.
How
I'm
this
used to it.
extra chaos will start is that Alex and Len actually first step out of the airport and they uh, talk this uh, person because which is surprising that they found another bystander at the Francisville airport because when they got there, I didn't see another person besides the staff. But they found another person and they borrowed their cell phone and they called their travel agent and they were looking for flights from Mumbai to Lucknow, the earliest. And when they find that flight, they book 6 tickets, which surprised me. I thought that Alex and Lynn were just going to book their tickets, but they booked tickets for them, Joyce and Uchenna, and Meredith and Gretchen.
Yeah.
And we see Meredith go, why are you doing this for us? To Alex and Lynn reply, because we want to run the final with you.
Yeah.
Which if I was with playing on a season with Meredith and Gretchen, I would also want to be in the final three with them. So I get that. But then on the flip side, we see Rob and Ron, like you said, standing behind the counter looking at flights from Mumbai to Lucknow. And they find a flight that goes through New Delhi that is going to land 5 minutes sooner. But they risk barely making the connection in Mumbai.
Why is it called New Deli?
But
Is the
they
meat
choose
and
to do
cheese
it.
newer than the meat and cheeses at the regular deli?
Yeah, they're more fresh. They have some livestock right out back, so it's real fresh meat.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
You good?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's why it's the new Delhi. Um, um, I think our delay's back.
it is. It missed us.
You're frozen.
Not on my end.
Anyway,
Am I still frozen?
okay, now you're not frozen. Not at all. No, you're not.
Okay, I did that for like a minute straight. From when you said I was frozen to when you said I wasn't,
Anyway,
that's what I was doing.
you good now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, every time I started to talk, you started to interrupt me.
Delay.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so Rob and Ron were looking behind the desk at the computer, and they find this flight, and then the attendant looks at them and says, "What if the other teams asked me to book the same flight that you did?" And Rob literally says, Don't let them. And she gave him a funny look, and he said, "Just point at me. I'll just smile and wave." And she kind of chuckles and just goes with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just thought it was kind of a funny scene. But we notice here that Rob and Amber and Ron and Kelly, when they get to Mumbai, they do make that connecting flight. They only have 10 minutes from the time they get off of their plane to the time that the doors close at the other plane, but they make it. And so they are going to get there ahead of the other team. And so the next thing we know, we are in luck now. In the Indian traffic is crazy.
Hold on.
Um, what?
Before we get to the Indian traffic, when we're at the airport, the taxi window itself is crazy. Except for you, Chenna and Joyce, who got a
Yeah,
good
I was
to
gonna.
go to the prepaid taxi window inside that doesn't have near the chaos and foot traffic as the other taxi window.
Well, the weird thing is, all of the taxi windows are prepay. I don't know what the difference is between the one that Joyce and Uchenna went to inside versus the one that everybody else went to outside. Um, but there is the difference. They're evidently they were different taxi services or something. Um, but yes, that was quite entertaining. Alex and Lynn and Meredith and Gretchen were about to get in a fight with some taxi drivers in India, I thought.
They're just
Um,
picking off vendors all over the world at this point, between taxi vendors and fish vendors.
no kidding. And Ron and Kelly were the unfortunate ones that had to stop for gas. So Rob and Amber got ahead of them there. But we do see that Joyce and Uchenna going to that inside one did end up being a worthwhile venture, than um, more than just the Joyce and Uchenna only paid 330 rupees compared to Alex and Linton, who paid like 550 rupees for their taxi.
Yeah. I think it was 400.
400 plus 150. I don't know what the plus 150 was, but they gave them an extra 150.
Tax maybe?
I don't know. But they had to ride these taxis to the Bara Imabara Palace, where they had to put on headdresses, unless you are Uchenna, Meredith, or Lynn. For some reason, they got to wear ball caps, but Rob and Ron definitely and Alex all wore the headdresses too. So I don't know why those three thought that they were so much better than everybody else, but they I digress. They wore their ball caps. Um, and they all found their clue that told them that they had to travel by a horse-drawn carriage that is called a tonga, a horse-drawn tonga, to a steel emporium. And caution, yield ahead. And here we see Robin Amber and Ron and Kelly both wanting to get to the yield first so that they can yield the other one. But like we said, a couple things. This is the second of three yields throughout the race. You can only use your yield one time, and so when Ron and Kelly got there literally seconds before Rob and Amber. Rob and Amber kind of talked Ron and Kelly out of yielding anybody, and said it wouldn't be that big a deal because they kind of also thought that this was going to be a non-elimination leg. And so both teams choose not to yield anybody. Fun fact, nobody yields anybody. Once again, for the second time.
Yeah.
and we start our roadblock here called search boxes. Do you want to explain the roadblock, Bruce?
Yeah, but I have first a note on this is that Lynn and Alex later are like,
Yes.
Rob and Amber didn't yield us. I can't believe they didn't yield us. Why wouldn't they do this? And my answer is because you're not a threat to them. They've been ahead of you the whole race pretty much. Like, why would they feel a
I
need
don't
to
think
yield
I
you?
don't think I don't think that's their answer.
That's my answer to Lynn and Alex. But like, why would
Okay.
they feel a need to yield?
Here
That's been consistently behind them the whole time.
here is my answer. And that is, well, two things. One one is, I think there's some validity to what you're saying, that they've constantly been ahead of them. But if this was the third yield, I feel like they would yield Lynn and Alex, just because uh, they piss us off. They don't like us. They're mean to us, and
Yeah.
so let's get back at them. But two, um, but they might benefit more in the future. They thought that they had a decent enough lead because they got that extra time that they saved at their flight. But the other thing, the thing that I think kind of might have made more of a difference here is they were still with Ron and Kelly at this point, and they literally just made a case to Ron and Kelly as to why not to yield, because we think this is going to be a non-elim leg. It's going to be a waste of one, and so I think that they lose some trust with Ron and Kelly if they talk Ron and Kelly out of yielding them and then turn around and yield somebody else.
Fair enough.
So I think that by not by not yielding, they're also continuing trust built with a team that they probably plan to backstab in the future, but they don't want to screw them over, or that they don't want Ron and Kelly to screw them over, so that they're gonna uh, roll the dice on what's not gonna be that beneficial to them right now.
Yeah, so the roadblock,
I think that played a bigger part.
probably. The roadblock is they go to this place called the Steel Emporium, which is just giant stacks upon stacks of metal boxes, so many metal boxes, and you have a clue in one of them.
And they're all empty
Yeah, and the
except for the
clues
10 with the
aren't
clues.
all in the
There's over
same.
600.
The clues are in different boxes too. So you just have to.
There's over 600 boxes and only 10 of them have clues.
That's insane.
You're insane.
Well, yes, but so is all the metal boxes.
That's fair. The clue actually said who has a lot of patience. Bruce, if that was the prompt, we don't know what it's going to be. Who has a lot of patience? Which one of us is going to do this?
I mean, probably neither of us, but
Yeah, I don't have patience. But which one of us is going to do this?
I mean, I'm willing to. It's just opening boxes till you find one.
All
Not,
right, you can have it. I don't want it.
I don't want it, but one of us has to.
Yeah, you can have it.
Okay.
But the people who did the roadblock were Amber, Kelly, Uchenna, Alex, and Gretchen. Um, and once they completed, I mean, this seems really simple, but we see that not everybody has as good a luck. Gretchen takes forever. Uchenna didn't get through it that fast either. But once they get through it, they have to take a cycle rickshaw 3 miles to Agba to a gas station. Um, Part of Gretchen's problem with this was also the fact that she's short and couldn't reach them. So that might be some of them. So I feel like that's another reason that you should do it over me.
Yeah, true. You're short. I can handle it.
Yeah. Um, I thought it was really cool though. There was uh once they finally got their clue and they were trying to figure out where they needed to go, they stopped this guy and he helped them um, get in the right direction. He also helped them find a cycle rickshaw. And then he walked alongside of their rickshaw the whole 3 miles. They're like, "Oh, you're going to run with us?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm going." I just thought that was really cool.
Nice.
Yes, sir. Um, but they get to the gas station and it's a detour. Do you want to explain the detour?
Yes, you waited till I was drinking water to ask me that. Good job. Um,
No, we are on delay.
oh yeah, it's back. I forgot. So we have solid or liquid. And in solid, you can smash coal and fill these bags with it till you have 175 pounds and then deliver it 4 blocks down the road. And nobody chose that one. And liquid, which
On
is,
a flatbed tricycle.
yeah. And the one everyone chose is
We don't
called,
just have to carry the coal.
well, none of them had to do anything with the coal. Nobody chose it.
I know. I was just you didn't specify, so I was just specifying we they didn't have to carry the coal.
Oh, okay.
They
I think
got
I missed
to
that part.
haul it on a flatbed tricycle.
Liquid is you go 3 miles to a tea store and push this tea cart 100 yards to a 3-story office building, and you have to search for 5 specific employees that you have to get business cards from, and they have a list of names.
Yep. And once you get those business cards, you have to take the tea cart and your business cards back and get your next clue from the tea shop owner. And like Bruce said, everybody chose liquid. What do you think, Bruce? Here, what are we doing?
I don't know. Liquid seems like easier physically, but it seems a lot harder walking through a giant building just asking if you know people. That seems time consuming. So I don't know.
I don't think it's that hard. I would very much strongly suggest liquid.
Okay, sounds good.
Um, but on the stipulation that you have to carry, I'll find the people and you have to carry the cup because evidently the tea is hot.
So am I. That's fine. That works.
Okay. Um, but we finally see Ron and Kelly here start to argue. They snapped
Oh, the worst.
because when they had to go to the 3 miles, Kelly wanted to go find a taxi. Ron said, "There's no taxi around here. Let's just get on the rickshaw and get headed." And they argued for like a couple minutes before they finally got on the rickshaw and started heading that way.
Yeah.
Um, my next note is that when we get to the actual office building, Rob found a guy who speaks English and literally says, "You speak English? Here, come with me," and drug him around the rest of the challenge, helping him find the places he needed to go.
Yeah, not like the guy has a job at or anything. Not like it's an office building. The guy's just there to show Rob around at this point.
Also, I want to make a note. You were talking about just asking people if they know people. That's not necessarily how this challenge goes because not only does it have the names, but it also has what department each person works in. So it's not like you're just saying, "Hey, do you know this guy?" And no, nobody knows him because he works 2 stories up from him. You can figure out what department you need to go to first.
Fair enough. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And also, really cool
Um.
scene when Meredith and Gretchen arrive to the tea shop or the office building or whatever. There's this giant crowd of people applauding them for some reason, like all
And
around.
Gretchen couldn't get enough, man.
It's great. I love it so much. I also want that when I go.
And she did too. She loved it too.
I want that much applause when I go places too.
Well, good luck with that.
Okay.
Um, Alex and Lynn were struggling with this tea challenge for a hot minute because they're just abrasive people. They do not have a very good uh,
Personality.
bedside manner.
Oh.
No, their personalities can be fine once
They
you get
can be,
past
but they
the
can also
abrasive.
be awful at other times. It's kind of a teeter-totter.
Correct. But we have seen there's some humanity in them. Unlike past race contestants that we can't necessarily say the same about.
You're talking about Patrick?
Maybe.
Yes. I'll say it. You were talking about Patrick. You don't have to say it.
So Rob and Amber, they finished this challenge first. Ron and Kelly not too far behind them, but we get the clue that would normally be the pit stop. We're told we're going to see Phil on the map, but it says make your way 1.5 miles to proceed to the route. That's what
Huh.
Phil tells us. To
Yeah.
proceed to the route. And it was at this point that I'm like, I mean, I wrote down, uh, is it a mega leg with 3 question marks?
Well, the
Um,
Mega Leg wasn't a
I
thing
guess my
yet,
answer
but
is kind
basically
of.
it is.
Yeah.
Because the
Um,
Mega Leg didn't
but
exist until a few seasons ago, I don't think, when they got rid of NELs. But basically, this is what it is. It's one leg across 2 episodes.
right. Well, we assume that's what it is. I don't know. We haven't watched the next episode yet.
Well, this leg isn't done. There's no elimination, so it's gonna. This leg will continue into the next episode.
What if the same thing happens in the next episode?
Okay, so one leg across 3 episodes.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said we don't know.
Fair enough.
Anyway, Gretchen and Meredith are so far behind at this point.
Uh-huh.
Like like Alex and Lynn finished the tee. They're in fourth place. They get on their rickshaw to head the 1.5 miles to see Mr. Phil. And Gretchen and Meredith, they're like, maybe Gretchen and Meredith just beasted out the coal and are ahead of us and we're in last. No, Gretchen and Meredith hadn't even, or were just getting to the tea place. They hadn't even got their tea cart to the office building yet.
Also,
And they were literally a
two
whole task behind.
why would you think that those two beasting out on the coal was a likely scenario? I
Well,
think that's like
I
the
think
least likely scenario that could happen in this episode.
they just hadn't seen them yet, so they thought maybe I don't know.
It's funny to think about.
I wish that's what happened.
Yeah.
And so as this episode is finishing, because I'm still a little bit confused, because like I said, I didn't expect the episode to end as the first team was arriving to see Mr. Phil. I expected it as the last team was arriving to see Mr. Phil, because that is a fair assumption to make on The Amazing Race.
Exactly.
Anyway, I had been very confused because I pulled up my time thing on here, and Rob and Amber are in first place. Rob and Amber are still delivering tea with less than 8 minutes to go in the episode. But Rob and Amber, they get to the building, walk up to Mr. Phil. They're laying the groundwork for what's going to be basically a mega leg, like we've said. Rob's running up these stairs saying, I really hope this is the pit stop because I am beat. Everybody is saying that. I don't know why, because it doesn't seem like they've really done that much this episode.
No.
But compared to other episodes. But the episode finishes with Rob. Here's the quote: Rob and Amber, welcome to Lucknow. I don't want to hold you up. I have your next clue. You are still racing. No reaction or anything. Black screen to be continued. That's how the episode ended. You are still racing.
Very abrupt. Like you said, I was expecting him to say that to see him say that to every team.
Yeah, me too. Um, but all in all, it was a good episode. It wasn't as exciting an episode as last week was, but it was a good episode. Um, any final thoughts on the actual episode itself?
No, it was a fun one. I enjoyed it.
What about power rankings? Do you have those ready?
Sure.
My power rankings are really boring. I'm just gonna let you know.
Yeah, me too.
Do you just have it the order that they're currently in?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That saves some time. Okay, we have the same order that they're in because this is a really hard one to judge. Because, well, for one, the leg isn't over. For two, I can't really see placing anybody above anybody outside of the current order that we're in. Meredith and
Well, the
Gretchen,
order didn't change at
I
all
mean,
during this episode either.
it didn't. But like my order last week was not necessarily the order that they finished
Yeah,
completely.
that's
But
good.
to me, Ron and Kelly have proven that so far in this race, they are the better team than Joyce and Uchenna. I can't argue that.
Yeah.
Alex and Lynn, I would, a couple few weeks ago, I would have said they're the better team than Joyce and Uchenna, but Alex and Lynn have also been struggling here recently in finishing kind of in the middle of the pack. So I have a hard time putting them anywhere other than fourth place. Rob and Amber have been too dominant to not be number one. Meredith and Gretchen have been our underdogs. It's hard not to place them in last based on how they've been doing. I don't really see another order right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So, sorry to disappoint. We really don't have a real power ranking this week because this was just a weird episode.
I got
Do you have
this power
any
right
more thoughts,
here.
Bruce?
What?
Not a whole lot of power. Do you have any more thoughts on The Amazing Race, season 7, episode 7?
Go.
That's not what I asked.
Go.
No, we're not done. I asked if you have any more thoughts.
I already said earlier I didn't have much more. It was a fun episode. I enjoyed it. It's kind of left on a cliffhanger.
Okay. I want to give a shout out real quick before we wrap things up here to Amazing Race season 25's Bethany Hamilton for going on The Masked Singer. She was unmasked this week. It was really fun.
What costume was she?
She was, just a second. She was, I'm pulling it up for you to see. She was the macaroon.
Ooh, those are yummy. Nice. I love that.
And there she is without it.
I
The,
I need to start watching that show again. I fell off after like season 5, but it's such a good show.
how dare you?
I love the silliness of it all. And I
Yeah,
love
it's incredible.
and I love the
And the
Ken
thing
fun
was,
of it all.
and the thing was, Bethany Hamilton was the first one out of this group to go home, but she didn't do that bad. Like the caliber of singers this season is pretty darn good, minus John Elway.
Oh gosh. John Elway was
Oh
on
yeah,
this.
he was terrible. But besides him, there wasn't like a horrendous singer like the seasons of yore that you probably know.
I remember Nick Carter being on there and knowing it was him like his second performance. because I recognized his
Oh
singing
yeah.
voice. And he went all the way to the finale without before I was proven right. But he didn't win because Night Angel
Mhm.
won that season. I forget who Night Angel was, but Nick Carter was Crocodile, and he should have won.
I would agree with that. Night Angel. Who was Night Angel?
Night Angel was a
Oh,
win.
Candy Burris. No, I disagree with wait, what? Night Angel did not win that season. I don't think.
Oh, who won the Nick Carter season? He should.
Because the Night Angel um the Night Angel season was Jesse McCartney's season.
Oh, let's see. Nick Carter was on season 4, so I go to Wikipedia and look up Masked Singer season 4.
Season 4 winner was the Sun, Leanne Rimes, the Sun.
Was it?
Hello?
I'm here.
Yes, I'm literally looking uh at the wiki.
Huh. I just remember thinking Nick Carter should have won.
Actually, I did not think Nick Carter should have won
Mushroom was
because
runner up. Was Nick Carter not even
I was
second?
rooting. I was rooting. No, he got third. I was rooting for the Mushroom.
Which was Aloe Black. Oh well.
Yeah,
Oh well. Just tune in to us next week. Check out our merch store. Check out Tribal Council chat. New Generation Challengers.
man, how rude! I was talking about Masked Singer season 4, and he just cut me off.
Oh, I was trying to get us back on track.
Well, how can you get us back on track when we had when I was looking at this freaking epic cast of characters?
Wendy Williams was on that season. I remember her being not very good.
Mickey Rourke was on that season, and he unmasked himself
Uh-huh.
without getting voted out.
I remember.
Mark Sanchez was the baby alien.
And this
America's dad, Bob Saget, was in that season.
squiggly monster.
Yeah. Lonzo Ball was in that season.
Corey Kelly.
Our first ever, yeah, as whatchamacallit. Our first ever duo, Snow Owls, was in that season. That was a phenomenal lineup.
And it somehow wasn't the season that had a fictional character in one of the costumes.
That was incredible. Kermit the Frog,
I,
crazy.
the thing is, I was watching
Crazy.
like this sounds like the it sounds like the voice of Kermit the Frog, and I was trying to think of his name.
Kermit
I
the
didn't think they
Frog?
put a fake character in there, so I kind of got it right.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Um, see, this is just um see, reality TV is crazy. And we need to be able to do more coverage here. But right
Yeah.
now we don't because we are uh
We're a baby
a
network.
show production. A 3 show production here. Tribal Council Chat, Pitstop Pals, and New Generation Challenge podcast, all here at the Reality Realm Network. Um, but please, like Bruce said, continue consuming our content. Check out our merch store on Redbubble. Links are on our socials.
If you buy enough stuff from Redbubble, maybe Mickey
I
Rourke
make
will come
money.
on and sing for us.
I don't think we want that. Why would we? Why would? Why is that the incentive that you're trying to push?
I just went with the most bizarre thing I could think of. but also unmasking
And
himself
Kermit the
unannounced
Frog
is,
was not the most bizarre thing.
but also him unmasking himself unannounced is just so
Hang
on
on,
brand for him.
you just broke up completely.
I'm here.
Hey, you got to repeat everything you just said because you got to repeat everything you just said because it was just.
Mickey Rourke unmasking himself unannounced is very on brand for him.
Yes. My thought is, how the heck did you try to come up with the most bizarre thing you could think of? And Kermit the Frog was not number one.
Because I'm looking at the cast list from season 4 on Wikipedia on my phone right now, and I saw Mickey Rourke's name. I'm like, hey, I thought your objection was gonna be we couldn't
Busta
possibly get him
Rhymes?
on here.
Oh no, I want Kermit the Frog.
I think Mickey Rourke might be easier to get, honestly.
Or what about Busta Rhymes?
I don't think we have a shot at getting any of these people on our show at the moment, but audience, if you
Um,
buy enough stuff from Redbubble, Mickey Rourke, Kermit the Frog, one of them might come on here. They might come
or
on
Busta Rhymes.
duet together.
That would be wild. If you buy enough stuff on Redbubble, we'll start a Masked Singer podcast right now.
I would love that. Side note, we're joking. Mickey Rourke and Kermit the Frog are way too big to ever come on our show. Do not expect that from us. Do not
I
develop
wouldn't say ever. I wouldn't say ever.
Right now, we have no shot at getting Mickey Rourke or Kermit the Frog.
You're right. Right now. Right now.
But
Maybe
we
by
can
the
get
time
Mickey
you die.
Rourke on and ask him about Iron Man 2 also. Because that's the other thing I've seen him in.
Oh, fair, fair, fair. Um, have you at all checked out House of Villains yet, Bruce?
I'm going to as soon as my house gets internet. I was waiting till I moved because I knew I'd have a lot more free time.
Okay, that's fair. Um, do you know anything about the mechanics of that show?
They fixed cars on there? I didn't know the show had mechanics. What, like, why? What are they fixing?
Shut up, you know what I mean.
I realized what you meant as I was talking,
Oh my God.
but no.
Okay, so when somebody gets voted out of this show, they strap them in what looks like an electric chair and fling them backwards into the wall where they disappear.
That's a little unhinged.
It's crazy. Anyway, I was watching an episode because I'm not quite caught up on the season. I'm one episode behind, but I was watching the latest boot episode, and the person who got voted out was getting hugged by somebody else. And Joel McHale basically had to make the person stop hugging the person getting voted out because he said, we cannot fling two people at once.
Hey yo.
I just thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But all of that to be said, we love reality TV here at the Reality Realm Network. And it is time for us to sign off on this one. So, that being said,
Go.
the world is waiting for you. Good luck.
Travel safe.
Go.
Go.